just want a little dedication to show them we're not better off alone. I like to think that history's got it wrong, 'cause we are the writers of this future classic song. Yeah. Love me if you wanna be my honey, if you wanna be my lover, if you wanna be my girl. So trust me, baby, you gotta stop lusting. No, it's superficial, it's triviality.
じゃん。見て。
かわいいこれ。
かわいい。
ペタンって貼っていこうか。
ペタンって貼っていこうか。透明なやつ。これをピリピリピリピリって剥がす。やって。オッケー。そしたら、端っこからペタン貼っていこうか。あっちから貼る。上手だ上手だ。からスタート。
Jesus, please don't be mad. I know that it makes you sad when I simply don't obey. I tried my best, I'd like to say, Jesus, please hold on when I simply don't have a song, and my heart can't give you praise. It doesn't care to even sing your name. But I still believe that you're bigger than all these things, and I can't find what to say. Somehow, you know, that you love me the same. Jesus, are you even real? Sometimes I pray, but I still can't feel the peace that you claim you would give when we had a hard day. No, I really shouldn't ask, but do you record all my bads? Will they put me in hell? Or is that a myth that the preacher said? I still believe that you're bigger than my unbelief. When I don't know what to say, somehow, you know, that you love me the same. Somehow, you know, that you love me the same. Somehow, you know, that you love me. Jesus, I'll keep trusting you, not always because I want to, but there's nowhere else to go. The words feel different, this much I know, and I'll try my very best